Thank you for your hospitality and having me here tonight, and to Kayla for inviting me to come speak. It's not my first time. I always enjoy being with you guys, whether it's sneaking in and worshiping on one of the back chairs or being asked to be up front. I want to just skip back to verse 1, because I think some of these verses are very powerful and very meaty, and give us a little bit more context to the verses tonight that we've already heard from Isaiah 58. Call with full throat. Don't hold back. Lift your voice like the horn. Tell my people about their rebellion, Jacob's household about their offenses. They inquire of me day by day. They want to acknowledge my ways, like a nation that has acted in faithfulness and not abandoned its God's decision-making. They ask me for faithful decisions. They want to draw near to God. So that is God's assessment of them. And then there's a quote from the people. Why have we fasted and you have not seen? We have humbled ourselves and you have not acknowledged. End quote. So they are asking God and telling God, we've done some spiritual stuff like we think we ought to, but we haven't seen you show up. There on your fast day, you find what you want, but you oppress the people who toil for you. There, you fast for contention and strife and for hitting with faithless fists. You don't fast this very day in such a way as to make your voice heard on high. Will the fast that I choose be of this very kind, a day for a person to humble himself? Will it be for bowing one's head like a bulrush and spreading a sackcloth and ashes? Is it this that you call a fast, a day favored by Yahweh? And so God, in response to their question, we have done what we think is the right spiritual thing to do here, and yet you don't seem to have shown up, God, begins to question them about the kind of fast they're having and their motives, and tells them right out the chute, you oppress the people. And then in verse 6, won't this be the fast I choose? Loosing faithless chains, untying the cords of the yoke, letting the oppressed go free, and tearing apart every yoke. Won't it be dividing your food with the hungry person and bringing home the lowly, downtrodden? When you see the naked, you will cover him and not hide from your fellow flesh and blood. Then your light will break out like dawn, and your restoration will flourish speedily. Your faithfulness will go before you, and Yahweh's splendor will gather you. Then you will call, and Yahweh will answer. You will cry for help, and God will say, here I am. So the people think they're being religious, and they are being religious. They're engaging in what we call fasting. Not drinking, probably not eating. And it's all tied in with religious practice. It's become fashionable in recent years to re-engage with spiritual practices that help us connect with God. Things like meditation or journaling, for example, various kinds of prayer, even walking a labyrinth, or even fasting. And for some folks who would say, well, it's for maybe medical reasons, I can't really fast from food very easily. They may even consult their doctor about that. It's become somewhat fashionable to fast from other things, such as television, for example, or what's really popular now is to say I'm going to fast from Facebook or social media. And of course, there is a really good intent in that. The intent being that these activities might be good activities, but perhaps what I'm getting out of them isn't all that great at the moment. And then if I give up some of these activities, maybe it will help me connect to God in a better way. Back in that day, they were fasting and then saying, God, you're not doing what we expect you to be doing. As if God is some magician, or as if our Christianity is magic, if you will. And if we only do certain things, we can then conjure up God, if you will. God, I've been fasting, so why is it that whatever I'm seeking in my life isn't coming from you? Why are you not showing that? I'm fasting and I'm seeking an answer for some question in my life, but the answer is not coming. Or I'm fasting, someone I know is in need of healing, but the healing is not coming. Or I'm seeking direction and vision from my church, so we're fasting, but maybe the vision and direction and the dream isn't coming. So we oftentimes treat God as if we just do the right things, God must show up. And we hear that promise in so many places, don't we? In so many places in the church today. But for many of us, we realize that life is just a little more complicated than that. That it's not a matter of simply doing A, B, and C, or 1, 2, and 3, and having God act in the way that we want God to act. And in fact, in this scripture, which comes near the end of Isaiah, the dominant theme is not that inward spiritual journey that we take to grow closer to God, but in how we treat others, how we are active and involved in the community, in helping others, in seeing the needs in those around us, and then trying to make a difference. Shane Claiborne is a popular author and speaker. He's someone that grew up in Tennessee. He grew up in probably what would be considered just a very traditional church in the South. But as a young adult and growing up into adulthood, he has really taken the teachings of Jesus so seriously that he lives a very simple life with others in community. And he lives in Philadelphia, where they have some very concrete ways of reaching out to the neighborhood around them. And, of course, he's written some books and he's invited to speak, but he's making a powerful difference in helping us think about our relationship with God and our churches and how the world either becomes excited about what God is doing and wants to follow along and be a part of it, or simply rejects what we're about. And in an article he wrote, I'm going to read just a part of it for you. He wrote this to his non-believing friends. He said, "To all my non-believing, sort of believing, used to be believing friends, I feel like I should begin with a confession. I am sorry that so often the biggest obstacle to God has been Christians. Christians who have had so much to say with our mouths and so little to show with our lives. I am sorry that so often we have forgotten the Christ of our Christianity. Forgive us. Forgive us for the embarrassing things that we have done in the name of God." The other night, I headed into downtown Philly for a stroll with some friends from out of town. We walked down to Penn's Landing along the river, where there were street performers, artists, and musicians. We passed a great magician who did some pretty sweet tricks, like pouring change out of his iPhone, and then there was a preacher. He wasn't quite as captivating as the magician. He stood on a box and he yelled into a microphone, and beside him was a coffin with a fake dead body inside. You know where this is going, don't you? He talked about how we are all going to die and go to hell if we don't know Jesus. Some folks snickered. Some told him to shut up. A couple of teenagers tried to steal the body from the coffin. And all I could do was think to myself, I want to jump up on a box beside him and yell at the top of my lungs, God is not a monster. Maybe next time I will. The more I have read the Bible and studied the life of Jesus, the more I have become convinced that Christianity spreads best not through force, but through fascination. But over the past few decades, our Christianity, at least here in the United States, has become less and less fascinating. We have given the atheist less and less to disbelieve. And the sort of Christianity many of us have seen on TV and heard on the radio looks less and less like Jesus. At one point, Gandhi was asked if he was a Christian, and he said essentially, I sure love Jesus, but the Christians seem so unlike their Christ. A recent study showed that the top 3 perceptions of Christians among young non-Christians are that Christians are 1, anti-gay, 2, judgmental, 3, hypocritical. I was just talking with someone, this is a side note, I was just talking to someone earlier who was talking about someone they knew who, when they brought out something to drink, one of their children said, Dad, I didn't know you had that in the house. And he said, well, I had to go 3 counties over to get it. And when questioned why he said that, he said, well, we're Baptists, and we're not supposed to drink. And I said, that's part of the problem with a lot of Christianity, is that the more, this is what I really believe, the more conservative you are, sometimes you present this outward way of being, but inwardly, you're just like all the rest of us. And Shane Claiborne says that young non-Christians in the U.S. see the church as anti-gay, judgmental, hypocritical. Probably all of us in this room would say amen to that. So what we have here is a bit of an image crisis, and much of that reputation is well-deserved. That's the ugly stuff. And that's why I begin by saying, I'm sorry. An article he wrote in a national, not a Christian per se, magazine. I think it appeared in Esquire, actually. And he has a lot more to say. I don't know about you, I would like to change the world. I turned 49 this week, time is running out. I don't know if you turn the TV on or open Facebook or whatever it is you do and think, wow, the world is getting worse. I thought it was supposed to be getting better. When I moved to Ponca City, it's been, I guess, 7.5 years ago, they had a yearly block party in the great time of the year when the weather was great. They would have all these outdoor activities and free food, and the gentleman in charge of this would give all kinds of door prizes. Some were big flat screen TVs. He scheduled all kinds of speakers from the community. So he'd have like someone from the fire department come and talk about the free stuff available to maybe help you with fire safety in your home, or he'd have someone from the hospital come and talk about what you could get at the hospital. And so it's kind of meant to be informational. There's also meant to be about, hey, see what a great church we are, and hey, have some free food, and hey, we're going to have door prizes. And what I discovered was this was a great church that I went to. Loving people, generous hearts, big hearts. And that year, the gentleman in charge said, I just can't be in charge this year. And no one else really wanted to be in charge. And even though it was a great event, I did hear a few things like, well, we sure give out a lot of food every year, but no one ever really comes back and visits the church. I mean, I'm sure we can all picture that, right? But trust me, these were loving people with big hearts. And one day, so we decided that year not to do it. And look, picture this. One day a year, probably for half a day, a block party out on your parking lot where you've invited all the neighbors to come and they show up. Where you have great food, door prizes, including a big screen TV. I mean, it's a fun event. And then picture that maybe you don't see any of those people again for one more year till you have the block party again. Now, where this church was located, there was lots of poverty around the church and a lot of very ethnic, or very diverse neighborhood. a lot of Hispanics, Native Americans, a lot of folks looking for work, a lot of drugs across the town, across the county. And one day somebody said, why don't we have a free breakfast on Saturdays? We're not going to give out door prizes, and we're not going to say, please come and worship with us tomorrow morning. And we're not going to have speakers come in. So we're not going to have them listen to a devotional and then give them breakfast. We're just going to advertise that we're having a free neighborhood breakfast. And if we do that every month, imagine that we might be able to get to know our neighbors better than we have been when we've just been throwing a yearly block party. And so we began to do that. And after the first year, as the fall came, someone began to collect coats. And along with coats came scarves and hats and gloves and mittens. And so we collected these primarily for the school, but we had them out, and when people came for breakfast, they needed coats. They needed gloves. They needed scarves. At first, not a lot of people came. But we kept doing it month after month after month. Now, I left there in June of 2015 and came to the city. And they kept doing that every month. Last month, a person in the church texted me and said, we had over 100 people show up for our free breakfast today. And we got rid of all the coats that we still had, so we don't have to worry about storing them over the summer. Now, in many ways, we're not going to change world hunger because we did that free neighborhood breakfast. But there are ways that our local church was involved in our denominational work. And in our denominational work, primarily on the national and international level, we're supporting organizations that are working on the larger issue of hunger. They're monitoring what happens in Washington, D.C., for example, at the Capitol. They are tracking bills and legislation. They're doing advocacy work that many of us living in tiny Ponca City up in north central Oklahoma didn't have the ability to do, or even a desire to get involved at that level. But we knew through part of our giving, we were helping to make that happen. So what our little breakfast, like I think, was God pleased with that? Was God pleased with that? And did it make a difference? For so much of what we do in the church is inward focused. What do I get out of it? I came to church, but I didn't like the music. I didn't get anything out of it. I came to church, I didn't get anything out. The preacher made no sense whatsoever. I got nothing out of it. Or simply, we talk about our faith in terms of our own prayer needs, of the needs of those we love. Or we want help in knowing how to read the Bible, and getting something out. It all becomes kind of like me. And all that is important stuff. But our scripture tonight calls us to move beyond that and to reach out to those around us who need help. There's a story, maybe you've heard it, maybe even it's a cliche, but I want to end with it. It's the story of a gentleman who had gone to a conference, and during one of the afternoon or morning sessions, he decided to skip out. The conference was held near a beach. He went down to the beach. There was one lone figure on the beach, a teenager. And the teenager, from the distance, he could see, was kind of like bending down, picking something up or doing something, and his hand was flinging out. And then he would bend down, then he would get up, and he would fling his hand out. He thought, what in the world is that person doing? And he kept making his way closer. And when he got close enough to tell what was going on, he saw all these starfish had washed up on the beach. And this teenager was reaching down and one by one picking up a starfish and flinging it out into the ocean. And the gentleman looked to the left, looked to the right. There were starfish everywhere. One teenager. And he thought, there is no way this is going to make any kind of difference. And he said what he said. Young man, do you think what you're doing is going to make a difference to all these starfish? And the teenager looked at him and knelt down and picked up a starfish and flung it as far as he could out into the ocean. And looked at the gentleman and said, it made a difference to that one. It made a difference to that one. God has work for us to do. Oh, that song is a wonderful song, with all kinds of great phrases. Till all the jails are empty. And I bet we can't even agree on whether someone should even get out of jail, right? I mean, let's be honest about that. That's tough stuff. I wouldn't want to be involved in prison ministry, in all honesty. And God bless those who feel called to do that. But we are called to make a difference in the lives of those who are in prison, to those who are hungry. And some are called to go right down here on 23rd Street to the Capitol and talk to your senators and your representatives and talk about hunger issues right here in Oklahoma County. And some of us are called to prepare a breakfast casserole on a Saturday morning and to make a difference in the life of at least one person who perhaps crosses our path and is simply hungry. Amen?